With any video we create, it's important that the footage we record is correctly exposed. Fortunately, with video, we can use the LCD screen on the back of the camera to check that we're not over or underexposed. The histogram, whilst in live view, is a great tool for this. Shutter speed, aperture and ISO are the three pillars of photography. This is the same with video. I usually shoot in manual mode, as this gives me the most control over the footage being recorded. Though in principle, I'm thinking in shutter priority as I set my shutter speed first. This is because shutter speed can dramatically change the way motion is depicted. With photography, shutter speed is often changed for almost every image depending on the light or the scene that you're capturing. With video, we aim to keep the shutter speed consistent, as it's normally set according to the frames per second. Generally, your shutter speed is set at double the frame rate. For example, I'm shooting at 25 frames per second, so my shutter speed is set to 1/50th of a second. Let me show you what happens if we set the camera's shutter speed too high. I'll set it to 1/320th of a second. Can you see the staccato effect? This may not be what you're looking for, so let me set the shutter speed back to 1/50th. Perfect. Next, I set the aperture. This controls how much light enters into the lens. The wider the aperture, the more light that's let in. Let's try that. Let's change the aperture. Perfect. The ISO is the final setting that makes the sensor more sensitive to light. There are times that you may want to have the cinematic shallow depth of field in bright sunlight. This can be challenging. You set your shutter speed to 1/50th and your ISO is as low as it can go. This means that you may need to set your aperture to f8, even f16, and it may not be the cinematic look that you were aiming for. My tip: use ND filters to reduce the light coming into the lens, allowing you to open up your aperture. In review, I like to shoot in manual. I set my shutter speed first, then the aperture, and finally the ISO. Have fun with it. Experiment and use the screen on the back of the camera to aid you. In our next lesson, we're going to move on to camera movement.